Yo, Asian Dad here. Everybody say.
Across the Spider-Verse is awesome-tacular.
910.
90%.
It's over 9,000!
But Asian Dad is in that 5%. Maybe expressing Asian Dad view might get him in trouble. But Across the Spider-Verse has some major issues. What are those things? Allow Asian Dad to share 4 reasons why he is in that 5%. And did Lord think that Across the Spider-Verse is the best thing since bubble tea? Before Asian Dad explains, this video will contain spoilers for Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. Number 1. In the movie, there are
100 billion
characters. Having great characters is generally an awesome thing. However, there are just so many awesome characters just trying to get your attention that they push Miles to the side. To Asian Dad, Across the Spider-Verse was unable to find a good balance between Miles as the main character and all the other characters.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
But you say, hey, Asian Dad, Into the Spider-Verse you had many other Spider-Man characters. Into the Spider-Verse did it much better because it focused on the main Collider mission for all the Spider-Man characters. It was Miles' mission, his universe. Miles suffered the tragedy with his Uncle Aaron. Miles is seen as the underdog.
But you don't have it yet. I'm sorry.
And Miles made the promise to Peter Parker.
Promise me you'll do this. I promise.
In Across the Spider-Verse, the movie introduced characters that push Miles to the side. Pushed to the side by Gwen Stacy, a great character. Pushed to the side by Spider-Punk. Pushed to the side by Pavita Parker. Pushed to the side even by Miguel O'Hara. And also pushed to the side by all the other Spider people. Movies with multiple interesting characters need to be handled with greater skill. This is usually done by centering around one central goal or conflict. Series or movies that are well written can support a large cast of unique characters, but Asian Dad does not think they should eclipse the main character. From the trailer, you think Miles will be so cool like this.
Everyone keeps telling me how my story is supposed to go. Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing.
But in reality, you just get Gwen Stacy driving at least half of the story forward. Was it only Asian Dad who thought this? Having many Spider-Man people is a great strength of Across the Spider-Verse, but it also ends up being one of the biggest flaws because it totally eclipsed Miles. Miles' story was handled quite poorly. He ended up being sidelined by everybody else. And this brings Asian Dad to the next point. Number 2. It seems like nowadays that movie studios think that fan service is like this. Sony think like this. What a great idea. What is better than 1 Spider-Man? What is better than 3 Spider-Mans? What is better than 7 Spider-Mans? Across the Spider-Verse offers many more callbacks for the Spidey fan base, including Asian Dad. Having more Spider-Man characters? Having more callbacks to old Spider-Man movies? Having callbacks to Spider-Man PlayStation game? Having callbacks to Spider-Man meme? The fan service done is fantastic, but there's something missing. What is missing? Maybe Asian Dad give you a clue. When Spider-Man conquers the loss of Uncle Ben, his desire for revenge, and then regretting that decision.
Ben died. I hunted down the man. I got what I wanted. It didn't make it better.
Conquering the corrupting influence of having more power. Making the tough choice of sacrificing your friendships for the greater good. Or facing the loss of someone you dearly love, and also your redemption.
Are you okay?
Are you okay?
Or maybe just keeping the promise to someone who you have no idea if you can keep that promise too. But it is called upon you that with great power comes great responsibility.
Promise me you'll do this. I promise.
The thing missing in Across the Spider-Verse is character growth for Miles. What really connects with the audience is the internal human struggle to face challenge, overcome the challenge, and grow as a character. Internal conflicts from struggles only you know by experiencing the freedom from being wronged. The internal conflict of knowing that you could have done something more to save somebody that you love. Or the internal conflict of knowing what is right and being forced to do the complete opposite. You can give a movie many items of fan service, but the important thing is not what you see outside, but definitely what you feel on the inside for the character, and not simply fan service. Asian Dad enjoys fan service, but with movie studios just pushing out movies because of nostalgia and fan bait, Asian Dad is afraid that Sony just continue to do this kind of thing. And in Across the Spider-Verse, this fan service feels like it comes at the expense of actually what makes a Spider-Man movie great. Facing challenges, overcoming those challenges, and ultimately, character growth. In Across the Spider-Verse, you see that Miles has grown up physically, but he is still lacking that character development. This is why Asian Dad is in the 5%. I can already hear you say, but Asian Dad, this is supposed to be a 2-part movie. This brings Asian Dad to the next reason why it's part of the 5%. Number 3. The movie ends on a cliffhanger. Asian Dad have no issue with 2-part movies, but the cliffhanger done in Across the Spider-Verse felt cheap, artificial one because of the pacing. Good 2-part movies have ending and resolution.
It's not relevant, is it?
But just not the ending or resolution that you want.
I don't want it.
Movie like Empire Strikes Back, this movie have an ending. Just not the movie ending that you want.
I am your father.
It's not true.
I don't want it.
Or like Avengers Infinity War. This movie also have an ending. Just not the ending that you want.
I never wanted it.
Both movies have ending, just not the ending that you want. Great movies know how to use endings to bring the audience back. Across the Spider-Verse gives low resolution, low ending, just a cliffhanger that feels cheap and artificial.
It's not relevant, is it?
It seems like the Sony movie studio look at the Spidey fan base like this. Why not split the movie into 2 movies and make 2 times the money? And this brings Asian Dad to the final reason why he's part of that 5%. Number 4. The pacing in the movie is very uneven. The first 40 minutes of the movie had some very slow moments. Some parts even feel like filler. Does Miles really have to fight Spot 3 times just to get his backstory? Did they really have to show so much about Jeff's promotion party? When in a similar scene, the actual heartfelt moment was between Rio and Miles about belonging. In the original Into the Spider-Verse movie, the first 5 minutes, you already introduced into Miles' struggle.
Why can't I go back to Brooklyn Middle? It doesn't feel like I have a choice. You don't.
His life, his family, and also some comedy in his life.
I love you.
That's a copy.
Within the first 15 to 20 minutes, we know what happened in Miles' life and the promise he makes to Peter Parker. This promise serves as the main driver of the story. However, in Across the Spider-Verse, it takes much longer to get into why Miles has to save his dad. Anyway, in the middle of the movie, it becomes super fast-paced. Then in the last 30 minutes, it slows down to a turtle pace again. Asian Dad think if they shortened the first 40 minutes and gave the movie another 30 minutes at the end, maybe the movie would have ended, but with good setup for the next movie. Why you slow the first 40 minutes in the beginning with the school scene, pacing Spot 3 times, and the Jeff promotion party feels like poor pacing. Elongated the last 30 minutes or so also feels like poor pacing. The pacing felt artificial in order to support a second movie. Anyway, Asian Dad will not give this movie a panda wing rating, because Asian Dad needs to see the second part of this movie. He hopes ultimately all the storyline will be tied together, because Across the Spider-Verse is a beautiful, erratic, fan service-filled love letter to the Spider-Man fan base, including Asian Dad. But it also disappointed Asian Dad because of too many characters that almost completely eclipse Miles. Fan service at the expense of a compelling internal struggle for Miles, poor pacing, and a cliffhanger that feels cheap and artificial. For these reasons, Asian Dad did not truly enjoy Across the Spider-Verse. This is why he is in the 5%. What do you think of these reasons? Did you agree? Are you part of the 5% as well? Comment below, let Asian Dad know. Anyway, enough talking. Go practice piano.